So welcome to Boxing Media Hub, and you're with us once again. We got some news coming. Oh, news!
Breaking news.
Leigh Wood vacates his world title. Chris jumps in straight away, as he always does. It was predictable. Hopefully, see the Cordina fight in a stadium. So Chris has jumped straight in there. He's jumped straight in. We're not ready for that yet, Chris. But yeah.
Well, you didn't have to put it up now.
Oh, I know.
You're in charge of that.
Leigh Wood has vacated his featherweight title, which was the WBA. And now we move on to the super feather. And Kolmatov, if I get it right, I apologize if it's wrong, versus Ray Ford for the vacant WBA that he's left behind. So, yeah, I don't think people are majorly shocked at this news, to be honest, as this was something that was brought up directly after the Warrington fight.
But even beforehand.
And Warrington even voiced it as well, didn't he? To say, look, we both struggle at this weight now. We're going to move up. And who knows? And at the time, there was obviously talk of the rematch for the title, the title before moving up. But this is what's been made. This is what's happened. So yeah, exciting times ahead for Leigh Wood. There's a lot of characters in the division moving up. As Ender was saying earlier, that kind of the guy in that division at the moment is Emmanuel Navarrete,
my Mexican friend.
Yeah, the WBO. So he's obviously a prime candidate, should we say? Number 2, if we're going to use the inverted commas, Hector Luis Garcia with the WBA. And then you've obviously got Joe Cordina sat at 3rd, the IBF with the IBF. So yeah, there's a lot there up for grabs, and obviously Foster with the WBC. There's a lot there. Obviously, depending on Josh Warrington, I'm sure we'll hear the news anyway that he moves up.
Well, I'd imagine so. But he doesn't have to vacate anything. He could just move up and fight for something.
Just move, can't he? But what would you like to see next, Ender, as a fan? Obviously, Chris has said about Cordina, the fight at the stadium, which would be great. Don't get me wrong, that would be incredible.
I think, and actually, I was thinking, well, Wood Warrington too is just primed to be there. But that can't happen until after next May because of the football. So I think in the interim, and Eddie Hearn did say the winner of that fight would fight Joe Cordina. And I think Joe Cordina is entitled to a fight in Cardiff. Now, I don't think it's Millennium Stadium worthy. You need big heavyweights for that kind of 80,000 stuff. Unless, of course, you are Carl Froch. But
he's mentioned that once or twice, doesn't he? He's mentioned it.
I hear it occasionally.
We've heard it some.
So either Cardiff City Stadium, which has been touted a lot by Eddie Hearn, would be a good venue for that, and then the likely victor, or even if he doesn't win, I'd say likely be would then be fighting Warrington in the Forest City ground. If he wins. If he doesn't win, he might have to go back to the ice rink. But and if Joe Cordina wins, I'm not so sure that Warrington Cordina would be as.
I think we're going to look at unification, aren't we? If
Cordina wins, I'd imagine he'd want to unify it rather than fight Josh Warrington. Whereas I can see with Wood, he's new to the division. If he won that, I think he'd take a non-mandatory and he would fight Warrington and beat him again.
Well, yeah, as I say, there's plenty there, isn't there? Moving up, there's plenty of opportunity. There's plenty.
I think the likes of Navarrete are too soon for Joe Cordina, or not. Well, it's too soon now for Joe Cordina. But if Joe Cordina wins his next fight, Navarrete remains a live choice, not the obvious, not the obvious one, because that will be the hardest fight. So I could see him,
because this is kind of a big thing for Leigh Wood as well, isn't it? Because Leigh Wood, after beating Warrington, turned around and said the plan, the plan is to move up. I know he said it previously, but he said the plan is to move up. We're now going to look at having that the Nottingham fight, and then he said, "I'd love Vegas." That they were his words. They are.
Well, if he wants Vegas, it's Navarrete.
And this is what I'm saying. These are the steps, aren't they? That he's kind of.
I mean, to go up to a new division, that's I wouldn't take that as the first fight. Cordina is a less daunting prospect. No offense to Joe Cordina, but it was touted by Eddie Hearn anyway.
That would be a great fight, Leigh Wood, Joe Cordina, wouldn't it?
Oh, I absolutely. I mean, that's the one Eddie Hearn was saying, the winner of Wood Warrington versus Cordina. So that's what we have, and that's what.
So, would you think
Chris was saying as well?
Leigh Wood goes and fights that, hypothetically, goes and fights Joe Cordina at the Millennium, or
it won't be the Millennium Stadium.
If you know what I mean, in Wales, he'll fight him in Wales, and then we get he then wins the title, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He then fights Warrington, beats Warrington at the Forest Ground,
mm-hmm.
which is the dream scenario for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be to Vegas, because then by that time you've had 3 fights. That would be your 3rd fight at that weight, and you've also got gold to hold to present to someone else as a unification. That's the dream scenario, I suppose, for Wood. Wood versus Cordina is only fight we need to see, not Josh Warrington. Do you know what? A lot of people after the Wood Warrington
would agree with Chris.
They don't want the rematch. There's no need.
Well, I think it's sellable given how it ended. There's so much.
Warrington up on the cards. Wood gets
but and there's that animosity there, and there's a big story there. That's an easier sell than the Cordina fight, but I do think the Cordina fight will be first, because to have a title there would be good if he won it. But if he didn't win it, that's the risk he has to take. So is it Cordina? Is it Warrington? But Warrington can't be before May, whereas Cordina could be, as he can go to Wales and fight that fight. So.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Warrington is better than Cordina. I'm just saying that fight sells
could be
down better.
More available at the present moment because of other situations.
But,
let us know in the comments how you see this one. Let us know who you'd like to see Leigh Wood fight next. I'm really chuffed for him. Good luck to Leigh Wood.
Absolutely.
Imagine
his power up at super feather.
Even he said, didn't he? The weight is becoming difficult.
Well, it looked bad for both of them, to be fair, on the scales. They both looked very gaunt. So you knew that was their last fight at that weight anyway.
But even Ben Davison said, didn't he? I've been telling him it was a struggle. We were worried about it. We've got through it. We move up. We move on.
And sorry to cut across you, but I'm after realizing an interesting spectator for his vacated belt. I know there's a planned fight for that. Who's fighting for the belt now? The vacated one.
So you got what? Kolmatov versus Ray Ford.
Yes, and I think an interesting person watching that could be Ireland's Michael Conlon. Who fights against Gill in Belfast on the 2nd of December.
You think Jordan Gill's massive opportunity for Jordan Gill as well? That's a great fight. Great fight.
I'm going to it all of us Irish boys are going. Sugar Free is going, and all the boys. So that'll be a great night in Belfast on the 2nd of December, and we have to do previews for some of those fights.
Definitely.
But so Michael Conlon will be watching that featherweight fight with eager eyes if he gets over Jordan Gill on the 2nd of December.
Well, there we have it, people. Let us know in the comments how you're looking at Leigh Wood, who you'd like to see him fight next. What direction does he go, and what's the plan of action if all goes well? Let us know in the comments. Hit the subscribe button as well. Check out the rest of the content. Ender, thank you very much as always.
No problem.
And we're going to have some of this.
Have it.